Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Hal Turner Show, live from New York City on global high-frequency radio station WBCQ, on frequency 7.490 shortwave, and on regular AM radio KYAH 540 AM, Utah's Talk Authority. This program brings American talk radio to countries around the world. If you'd like to call this show to express your opinion about news or issues that are important to you, telephone number you can dial, country code 1-201-771-3013. Again, 201-771-3013. So, there is breaking news of an enormous nature right now, all right? And I have this shit-eating grin on my face over this news. All of you are aware of the so-called Russia collusion investigation, right? For 2.5 years, the United States of America was cast into political turmoil, constitutional chaos, because of a hoax perpetrated upon the country by the Hillary Clinton presidential campaign and the Democratic National Committee. They claimed that Donald Trump colluded with Russia to steal the 2016 election, and he was an illegitimate president, and it caused such a firestorm of controversy that then Deputy Attorney General Rod Rosenstein appointed a special prosecutor, special counsel, or former FBI Director Robert S. Mueller III, who spent somewhere around, $30 million investigating everything he could investigate. And when he made his final report to Congress, there was no proof at all that Donald Trump or anyone in his campaign colluded with anyone anywhere to steal the election. Thus, President Trump's presidency is completely legitimate. But that didn't stop the Democrats in the House of Representatives and in the Senate and their apparatchiks throughout the 50 United States from perpetuating this lie, this vicious lie, for 2.5 years. Well, Attorney General Barr wanted someone to look into how this Russia collusion investigation got started, because it appeared to the Attorney General of the United States that the entire thing was based on fraud. The entire thing was based on a dossier produced by a former British spy, Christopher Steele, that was uncorroborated, unsubstantiated, and that there was no basis to open any kind of investigation. And so Attorney General Barr took a veteran U.S. attorney, guy named Durham, and he said, Mr. Durham, I want you to look into this so-called Russia collusion investigation, and I want you to find out how the criminal law enforcement apparatus of the United States federal government opened this investigation. What was done to cause this? And this United States attorney, Mr. Durham, John Durham, began his investigation. It was an administrative review. All right. Now, Durham works for the Department of Justice, and Attorney General Barr is the head of the U.S. Department of Justice. And so what was unusual about this is that the Justice Department was actually investigating itself. Well, the administrative review is now changed as of today. The United States Justice Department has shifted the administrative review into an official Department of Justice criminal investigation. Yeah! This move gives U.S. Attorney John Durham the power to subpoena for witness testimony and for documents, to impanel a grand jury, and to file criminal charges. Oh, yes. What does this mean? Well, to the average observer like me, it sounds to me like it means federal grand juries for former CIA director Brennan, for former director of national intelligence Clapper, for former FBI director Comey, for former FBI deputy director Andrew McCabe, for former FBI agent Peter Strzok, and former FBI counsel Lisa Page, and a whole slew of others. Have any of you noticed that for the past week or two, Brennan and Clapper have basically gone silent? They were out there doing their Twitter thing and calling President Trump a threat to democracy, and he was terrible, and he was a mean person, and now they're quiet. Why? Because there's now a criminal investigation. Now, what crimes may have been committed? Well, how about defrauding the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Court through the filing of false affidavits? How about lying by omission for failing to include information that a court would have seen made this Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Act request to spy on the Trump campaign illegitimate? How about conspiracy to defraud the United States of its lawfully and properly elected president? How about lying to Congress? I mean, these are just the crimes that come immediately to mind over what went on for the past, 2.5, 3 years. And then how about sedition? How about conspiracy to commit sedition, to subvert the government of the United States? I think, ladies and gentlemen, that today's news that the Department of Justice is officially shifting its administrative review into a full-scale criminal investigation is so amazing that history will be made. We could see former President Barack Obama imprisoned for ordering the intelligence apparatus of the United States of America to investigate a political rival. Can you imagine if the first and only black president of the United States ended up in prison? That would be like, oh my God, so amazing. So this news is just breaking today. It's really important stuff. It is If you thought the liberals and Democrats in Congress and the media were flipping out for the last 2 years, I think you ain't seen nothing yet. Because I think these people are now going to go berserk. An actual criminal investigation. And there are other components that could arise from this, like, James Comey leaking classified FBI information to media outlets. I mean, the crimes, the actual crimes that seem to have been committed in this whole sordid affair are amazing. And a lot of the people who were perpetrating these crimes apparently did so thinking that Hillary Clinton was going to win the presidency and everything that they were doing under the table would be covered up. And then Donald Trump won. And none of what they did under the table can be covered up because he is the chief law enforcement officer of the country, and the Justice Department cannot conceal anything from him. Oh, wow. When I heard about this today, I was like, yes, finally. Finally! Now, of course, the New York Times is also covering this. And, the Times is already trying to spin this news. And the Times reports that the opening of a criminal investigation is likely to raise alarms that Mr. Trump is using the Justice Department to go after his perceived enemies. Mr. Trump fired James B. Comey, the FBI director, under whose watch agents opened the Russia inquiry, and has long assailed other top former law enforcement and intelligence officials as partisans who sought to block his election. Well, so that's the spin, right? For the New York Times to say this, you can now be sure that the entire set of talking points for all the Democrats is going to be Trump is using the Justice Department to go after his perceived enemies. They will absolutely not address the fact that the people being investigated seem to have committed crimes. They will say, nope, this is nothing more than political use of the Justice Department to go after Trump's enemies. Well, wait a second. Isn't that what Obama did? Didn't President Barack Obama instruct Clapper and Brennan to open an investigation into the Trump campaign? Based on, what, a PP dossier by a British spy? Give me a friggin' break. Talk about politicizing the Justice Department. But we, on the right, and I count myself on the right, we've been the victim of actual crimes, in my opinion. In my opinion, we had high-ranking officials in the Obama administration trying to destroy the results of a full, fair, legal election. There's got to be accountability for that. And now, today, it seems as though accountability is on the horizon for the people on the left who thought they could get away with overturning an election. Oh, man, I want to see some of those people go to prison. And I don't say that lightly, ladies and gentlemen, because I went to prison. I know what prison is like. Prison sucks. But I want to see Brennan, Clapper, Comey, McCabe, Strzok, Page, and others sent to federal prison. Because in my view, they tried to erase the votes of 62 million Americans like me and strip us of our president.
You know what makes me furious? Politicians who pass laws keeping me from owning or carrying a handgun. Tens of thousands of women have been raped, beaten, and killed in this country. Virtually all of them had two things in common. They weren't armed and the police weren't around when they were attacked. I don't want to be raped or maimed or murdered, so I carry a handgun, even though that bothers some people. I don't care. Nobody tells me I can't defend myself, especially some politician living in a safe neighborhood who has bodyguards you and I pay for. If you ask me, these politicians are on the criminal side. Handguns are small, easy to carry and use, and very effective for self-defense. That's why the police carry them. Get smart, sisters. Criminals can get all the guns and knives they want. How does taking away our guns make us safer? Look, you may think you'll never be attacked by a criminal, but I'll bet that's what all those other women thought.
Help us spread these ads across America. Send checks to Citizens of America. For our address and to learn more, go to citizensofamerica.org.
I'm back. Hal Turner live from New York City on this 24th day of October 2019. Yeah, live. This is not a recording. There's other news. Really cool news, too. You guys all know that there's this skinny little left-wing douchebag named, he calls himself Beto O'Rourke, running for the Democrat nomination for president. Now, of course, Beto, he apparently adopted that name to try to endear himself to Latinos, but his actual name is Francis O'Rourke. It's about as Irish or Scottish as it gets. He's not a Beto at all, but, Beto O'Rourke has made nationwide news repeatedly over the last several months when he started with his hell yes that he would take American citizens' guns, and most recently made the same news after the last Democrat debate. After the last debate, O'Rourke said in an interview with MSNBC that if gun owners didn't comply with his mandatory buyback of AR-15 and AK-47s, that he would send law enforcement to their door to confiscate their firearms. Bold words for a skinny Irish guy from El Paso, right? Well, turns out that some sheriffs around the country aren't having any of this nonsense. This week, several county sheriffs around the country have come out and rebuked Beto for his unconstitutional plans. And they've also let him know they will not help him in his effort to violate the Second Amendment rights of the American people. As the anti-gun vitriol from the left has escalated, several county sheriffs made headlines for standing up for the rights of their constituents and for the Constitution. Like Mark Cage, the sheriff of Eddy County, New Mexico. He was recently interviewed and he gave his thoughts on Beto's confiscation plan. The sheriff said, quote, "I'm not sure whether his statements are naive or just plain ignorant and arrogant. Maybe it's all three," unquote. And, this is the way a lot of sheriffs are looking at it. I mean, Mark Cage of Eddy County, New Mexico, he went on. He said, "The thought of anyone using my sheriff's office or any other law enforcement agency in this country as their personal Gestapo to go door to door violating citizens' rights is disgusting. It's unrealistic. It's downright un-American," unquote. Meanwhile, 10 hours drive north of Sheriff Cage, the sheriff of Weld County, Colorado, he has similar thoughts. That sheriff, Steve Reams, said that such an order would be unconstitutional, and would put his deputies in the crosshairs. Reams went on to say, "I think you have to be concerned for the safety of the citizen, too, because at that point, they don't know if law enforcement is coming to protect them or disarm them. And that creates a very tense situation. Well, Sheriff Reams is right. And yet another New Mexico sheriff, Shane Ferrari, summed up Beto's fundamental error. Ferrari said, and I quote, "The biggest fear of any free society is the government at your door wanting to take away your rights by force. I do not see the men and women of law enforcement sworn to uphold the Constitution doing this," unquote. You know, it's like in an act of desperation, O'Rourke is like, I don't know, shamefully using the tragedies of gun shootings, of mass shootings, to fulfill his political goals. You know, and these sheriffs, I got to tell you, folks, these sheriffs personify the kind of law enforcement officers that Americans are happy to elect and to follow and to support. All right, these are men, these sheriffs that I've quoted tonight, these are men who understand that their duty is to protect and serve, not to create a police state with a lunatic like Beto at the helm. If the proverbial shit hits the fan, you know, maybe Americans could head to these gun sanctuary counties where cooler heads prevail and where the American spirit is alive and well. The American spirit, yep, freedom, liberty, accountability by government. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is really where the Democratic Party has run amok in this country. I got to tell you, I think that the Democrat Party is dead. And everybody knows it except them. They're like the zombie party. I mean, have any of you actually paid any attention to what their candidates for president are pushing? It's like something out of Karl Marx. It's like the Communist Manifesto. It's like socialism on steroids. These people are nuts. And I don't know how any rational, freedom-loving American could support any of these Democrat candidates. Now, there are a whole bunch of envious, jealous, and lazy Americans who might view these candidates as a way for them to get free money, get free stuff. I refer to them as the free shit crowd, because all they tout is, give me free shit. Ow, free shit. Give me free shit. Who's going to give me free shit? I'm going to vote for them. Well, you know, there's a saying that is really apropos. Mousetraps work because the mice don't understand why the food is free. Right? Yeah. Mouse traps work because the mice don't understand why the food is free. Snap! And the mouse is dead. The people in this country, the gimme free shit crowd, don't understand why certain folks in government want to give them things for free. It's a trap. Because there are always strings that come along with free stuff. There are always strings attached. You got to do this, you can't do that. You got to have this, you can't have that. And those strings put you under control of those government types. Those strings take away your freedom. There's nothing free in this life. Heck, even the Bible says you have to work to eat. It's the most basic tenet of life. You have to work to eat. Nobody owes us anything. We're not entitled to free anything. And moreover, nothing is free. When somebody in government starts talking about giving Medicare for all, free health care for all, it ain't free. Somebody's paying for that. And then these same politicians turn around and say, well, it's the rich. They have to pay their fair share. And all the useless idiots go, yeah. Well, take a look at what fair share means. Because in some of these liberal Democrat minds, fair share means paying 70% of their income in taxes. How is that fair? I mean, you go to work, you got a paycheck, take a look at your gross, deduct 70% off that, and tell me how that's fair. How is it fair? And what happens, ladies and gentlemen, after the first year when the government takes 70%? People couldn't save no more. The government took it, right? So what happens in year 2? There is no more to take. They took it. And this is why socialism and communism always, every time, fail. Now, we have, in this country, Social Security, right? Let me ask you something. In your lifetime, how many times have you heard Social Security is going to be bankrupt by such and such a year unless we do something to fund it better? No matter how old you are, you had to have heard that at least once. Now, I'm 57 years old. I've heard it several times in my lifetime. Social Security will go broke by such and such a date unless we do something to properly fund it. There you have it. Even here in America, something socialist constantly in jeopardy of going broke. Because socialism cannot work. Socialism and communism only work until they run out of other people's money to spend. And then what do you get? Well, you get places like Venezuela. And look at all the Central American countries and even South American countries that are up against all sorts of economic hardship right now. Riots in Chile, protests in Brazil, protests in Argentina, social and economic collapse in Venezuela. And yet, the Democrat Party and its candidates for president want to import more people from Central and South America. Why? So we can turn the United States into another failed Latin place, just like South America? No thanks. And if you say no thanks, well, then they turn around and say, well, you're a racist. The left wing in this country is out of its collective mind. And they are so off the reservation in terms of what it means to be an American and what the country of America itself exists for, that they are, their party, as far as America, is literally dead. Because the only people that would support the Democrat Party or its candidates are too effing stupid to be Americans. They really are. I mean, taking people's guns? Why? Well, because we've got too many people being killed by guns. Well, what do you hope to achieve by taking the guns from law-abiding people? Well, we'll stop the gun crime. Why? The people using the guns in these crimes are already breaking the law. It's illegal to murder people. It's illegal to do mass shootings. Criminals aren't obeying it now. They just think they'll obey it if you outlaw everybody else's guns. I don't know. And never think beyond the moment. people are too stupid to be Americans. If you're registered in the Democrat Party, you need to unregister. You need to either come to the Republican Party or at least declare yourself independent.
It's Thursday night, and you're grabbing drinks with some friends. Started off with a pitcher for the table, which quickly becomes two. There's pool. And there's the photo booth.
All right, everybody squeeze in. Say cheese!
Followed naturally by an order of wings. And another.
Can we get some extra ranch sauce?
Then there's the ceremonial nightcap.
So what are we doing this weekend?
And lastly, it's back to the car, which, if you're buzzed, could be the most expensive night of your life. Getting pulled over for buzzed driving could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. Nothing kills a buzz like getting pulled over for buzzed driving, because buzzed driving is drunk driving. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Gun control? It's the best thing you can do for crooks and gangsters. I want you to have nothing. If I'm a bad guy, I'm always going to have a gun.
Sammy Gravano, convicted mob assassin.
Gun control's not about stopping crime, it's about disarming America.
The police hardly ever stop crime. They're called after a crime has been committed. Politicians know this. So why are they passing gun control laws that take away your self-defense firearms?
Gun control's not about stopping crime, it's about disarming America.
The president and other politicians are protected by men carrying rifles and pistols with high-capacity magazines, but they're outlawing them for you and me. Do they think their lives are more important than ours?
Gun control's not about stopping crime, it's about disarming America.
The militia includes all adult Americans, but the government is forbidding us from buying or owning militia rifles. Why is the government so eager to disarm the people they're supposed to serve?
Gun control's not about stopping crime, it's about disarming America. To keep hearing these ads, send checks to Citizens of America, 2118 Wilshire Boulevard, number 447, Santa Monica, California, 90403, or learn more at citizensofamerica.org.
And I'm back. Hal Turner. This is by far the coolest radio show on planet Earth. Nobody else tells it like it is the way it's done on this show. I am so happy to do this. I really am. It's so much fun because I just have to be me. I just have to call it like I see it. And I do. Now, of course, the liberal left wing, would describe my comments as hate, racism, bigotry, sexism, transphobia, and all the other epithets that they hurl at people. And that stuff it rolls right off me. It's like I got Teflon. Teflon Turner! Oh, boy. So it's fun, and I'm having a ball. And now, you know what? It's 9:33. I got to let you guys have some fun, too. I'm opening the telephones. I want you to call in, and you could talk about stuff I've mentioned tonight, or, you could raise a completely different topic. You want to talk about the wildfires out in California, despite the fact that they blacked out 450,000 customers again, and the fires started anyway? Give a call. The number you can dial to get on the air, 1-201-771-3013. All right? And you know how it works. The calls are answered automatically. You get put on hold. You can hear the show on the phone. But you have to be paying attention on the phone, not on your computer and not on the radio, because there's a delay. And if you don't listen on the phone, you won't know that I've picked up your phone call. There's also no censorship on this program. And while I'm thinking of that, let me rebuild the obscenity delay, which you can now hear as probably some fluttering in my voice as the electronic obscenity delay inserts little blank spots so that it can carry, X number of seconds in its electronic memory, so that if somebody says something that I gotta dump off the air, I can hit the button, and you guys never hear the obscenity. And of course, the FCC is clear on what constitutes obscenity. You can cuss, but your words, the cuss words you use, cannot be used to describe a bodily function or a sex act. So you can say someone's an effing a-hole, but you can't say F them in the a-hole. Yeah, you get it. Okay. So I see I've got somebody on hold. I'm going to go to the phones, but there's only one caller right now, so you guys can still get in. Hello, caller. You're on the air. Who are you? We calling from?
Yeah, hi, Hal. This is Bill from Colorado.
Hey, Bill in Colorado. What's up, man?
Hey, you were talking about the Weld County Sheriff.
Yeah.
Well, you know, first of all, the sheriff is the law in the county.
Yes.
Okay? And when they passed the red flag law statewide in Colorado,
Okay.
there were, I think, 26 counties of the 64 that come out, and the county commissioners voted and said, this is unconstitutional, we will not enforce this, and our county will be a Second Amendment sanctuary county.
Wow. 26 out of 64. Wow.
Yeah, and, you know, to me, that was beautiful, because that's sort of like telling the state legislature, hey, you go pound sand.
Yep.
We're not. And, I mean, it's even to the point where, you know, I'm friends with my sheriff. Actually, I was shooting against him, 3 months ago. And we had a fundraiser shoot for the dead veterans,
Yes.
and, you know, for the families. And so anybody wanted could go shoot against the sheriff. And so I shot against the sheriff, and just mainly because I just wanted to give the money. But
Right. Target shooting. Yep. Mm-hmm.
yeah, and you know, the sheriff's office told me, they said, listen, if State Patrol ever shows up at your house and said, we've got a red flag law, you call us, we will come and protect you.
Wow.
You know?
That's amazing. You know, I got to tell you, these red flag laws are such bullshit, because any person can go to any law enforcement and say, I think Joe Blow is psychiatrically deranged. I mean, he believes that the Second Amendment protects his right to keep and bear arms. He shouldn't have guns. And they'll say, sign right here. And they sign, and voila, they come and take the guns. Well, that is not due process of law. You have to get notice. Yeah. You don't just have people come and take your private property. We have private property rights in this country. It's amazing.
Well, and you see, the problem is there's lots and lots of sheriffs around the country that they're left-wingers, you know?
Yep.
And, you know, our sheriff uses the citizens. I was a volunteer. I worked in the sheriff's office for 4 years as a volunteer.
Yep.
You know, and, you know, fingerprinting and application processing for concealed carry.
Sure.
And, you know, I mean, and to me, that was a public service that I did. And I'll tell you, when you're on the inside working in one of these sheriff's offices,
yeah,
you find out the inside story.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Well, no, wait a minute. We can't do that. That's unconstitutional. You know, it's like there was one time where they had a deal with a guy who refused to let the fire department go across, cut his fences, and go across his property and put out a fire. And I said, well, you know, why didn't you just lock the son of a, you know, gun up?
Yep.
And they said, oh, no. That is a violation of that man's property.
Wow.
If he doesn't want us going across, we don't go across. And, you know, I disagreed with him.
See, now,
you know, but
in my home state of New Jersey, if there is property which is landlocked by surrounding property, so let's say my lot is in the middle of 5 lots on every other side, and there is no road going to my lot. Under our state real estate laws, I, as the landlocked property owner, have an easement by necessity to personally travel across that other property to get to my property. And I would argue that the fire department might also have an easement by necessity, but I don't know. The law could be different in Colorado.
Yeah. Well, there's easements here, but I don't know why. But this guy was just. It was a whack job.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, when you get a big grass fire out here,
Yep.
everybody wants to chip in.
Sure.
And if the fire department comes up to my place and says, "Hey, we need to get over there," I said, "Cut the fence."
Yep. Do what you got to do. Put the fire out. Yep.
Yeah, you put the fire out.
Yep.
So at any rate, but it's good because I think the local sheriffs, the ones who are constitutional,
Yep.
are supporting our rights. And plus the other thing is in the county that I live in, I think over 50% of the adults have concealed carry permits.
Wow. Wow.
And plus we have open carry, so you can it's kind of funny if I have an out-of-stater friend in, like, from the People's Republic of Maryland or People's Republic of Jersey.
Yep.
We walk into a place and there's somebody with open carry. They freak out.
Yeah.
Well, legally, okay, you ready for this? Legally, I can carry an AR-15 over my shoulder into my bank and make a withdrawal.
A legal withdrawal. Yeah, not a robbery, a withdrawal.
Legally, I can walk in, Now, of course, you don't want to make any jokes about saying anything about the gun.
No, you don't, because that's serious.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
That's like being in an airport and joking about a bomb. That's bullshit. You don't do that. So, I always felt safe whenever I was around average Americans with guns. I always felt safe because I know that, it's holstered, it's open, they know how to use it. Now, if I'm in an inner city and I've got somebody, holding it out and holding it sideways, it's like, God, this is a nut. And then I don't feel safe. But I always felt safe with Americans carrying guns because they're the good guys.
Yeah. And so, at any rate, so that was I just had to call in and
all right. Bill in Colorado, thank you for the call. Take care.
Yeah, hey, you got my $25, didn't you?
I'm not sure. Did it go by website?
Yeah, it was yesterday. It was.
Yes, I did. Thank you very much.
Okay. They used my official name on that.
Well,
okay.
Good. Thanks, man. Take care.
Yep.
Bye-bye. Hi, caller. You're on the Hal Turner Show. Who are you? Where are you calling from?
Hell, it's a geriatric door gunner from New Mexico.
The geriatric door gunner from New Mexico. How are you?
I am doing better than I deserve. I have copped that line from Dave Ramsey because it works.
Yeah.
I have 2 points that I think might bear contemplation.
Go ahead.
First of all, you mentioned something about putting people in prison.
Yep.
Now, if I remember correctly, Sheriff Joe had guys in prison, and he was feeding them bologna sandwiches for lunch.
Yep.
As near as I can estimate, a bologna sandwich probably costs about 50 cents.
Probably.
I just recently purchased 1,000 rounds of 9mm ball for $179, which comes to 17.9 cents per round.
Oh, no.
The last time I did arithmetic, I got to admit, I graduated from high school almost 60 years ago.
Before the diploma became a condom.
Well, there is that part, yes. There was a time when I wouldn't have known what to do with the diploma or the condom.
Yeah,
but
me
anyway.
Too. Yeah.
But the point being that this is all before the new math stuff. Okay? So as near as I can guess, 17.9 cents is cheaper than 50 cents.
Yeah.
Okay. I contend that for $5 a pop, we could hold a raffle for spots on the firing squad for all of this filth.
Oh.
And pay off the national debt.
Oh, that's, that's humorous, but as a civilized nation, we just can't do that for simply everybody who's in jail. You want to hold on through this break? I'll pick it up with you on the other side. Hold on.
You're on, baby.
There are many sounds in your day-to-day life. There are sounds that wake you up. Sounds that make you smile. Sounds that energize you. And sounds that help you relax. But there are some sounds that can alert you to danger and can help save lives. Wireless emergency alerts, now on many mobile devices, use a unique sound and vibration to bring you information about severe weather events, Amber Alerts, or other emergencies in your area. With critical information from local sources you know and trust, you can be in the know, wherever you are. For more information, visit ready.gov/alerts. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
You're listening to the Hal Turner Show on WBCQ.
And I'm back. Hal Turner live from New York City. Taking your phone calls at 201-771-3013. On the phone with me is the geriatric door gunner from New Mexico, talking about how much cheaper it is to shoot people in jail than it is to feed them bologna sandwiches. Is that right, sir?
That is absolutely right. 100% accurate.
Well, we can't do that. You know we can't do that.
No, we can't go into jails and take them out. Absolutely not. If they've already been convicted and sentenced to prison, they're prisoners.
Yeah, but
we got to feed them. We got to take care of them. We got to. There's a prison facility very close to me here in northeastern New Mexico. Frequently, I see them brought into the hospital and to the doctor's office and stuff like that. Hey, you take responsibility for them when you imprison them.
yes.
But if you sentence them to execution,
Yes.
then you execute them.
Well, you see,
There was a time,
Mm-hmm.
some 50-odd years ago, when enemies of the country were targets. We had areas in Southeast Asia we referred to as free fire zones, like they're trying to make out of the schools in this country now. If you moved in that zone, you were the enemy. And it was legitimate to take you under fire.
Wow.
And I'm talking about with a real assault weapon. None of this Mickey Mouse semi-automatic stuff is an assault. Anybody that goes on an assault, and I am the veteran of numerous combat assaults. Anybody that goes on an assault with a semi-automatic weapon has a very unconcealed death wish.
Yeah, if you don't go full automatic, you're dead.
Oh yeah, rock and roll. That's what you use it for.
Yep. All right,
But
what was
anyway.
your second point, sir?
The second point was at $5 a pop for positions on the firing squad, we could pay off the national debt.
Yeah, I don't think so, man. It's up to $23 trillion now? Yeah.
Hey, I'd be willing to go $1,000 and bring my own ammo.
Oh, you're a good American, sir, and I appreciate you calling this show.
The thing of it is, every one of those political pukes on that stage has sworn an oath, the same as mine, the same as yours when you were the Fibbies, the same as anybody who has ever worked for the government, to protect, preserve, and defend
The Constitution against all enemies, foreign and domestic.
It doesn't go away.
No, it doesn't.
In 1968, they gave me a piece of paper that said, "You've been a good little boy. You can go home to mommy now." But they never said anything about your oath don't count anymore.
That's right.
So that's
It
just the way it
counts.
is. I mean, they're traitors. If you betray your oath, you are a traitor.
I agree
By
with you.
definition.
I agree with
By
you.
definition.
I agree. All right, sir. Geriatric outdoor gunner in New Mexico. Thanks for the call.
You're more than welcome, sir. You have a wonderful day, and I love you forever.
Thank you. Bye-bye. All right, folks, it's 9:49 p.m., and I want to remind you, today is the 24th day of October. We are now 7 days away from the end of the month. And as such, I engage in fundraising the final week of each calendar month to try to raise enough money to keep this show on the radio and to keep my website on the internet for you. I cannot do this without you. And so I'm not going to take a lot of time. I'm just going to take about 30 seconds and say to you, I need your financial help right away. If you are of a mind to support this kind of radio show and the news that you get on my website, please take your credit card or debit card, go to my website, halturnerradioshow.com, and click on the yellow donate button on the right-hand side of the webpage. You don't have to have a PayPal account. All right? You can use your credit or debit card, and you can donate, 5, 10, 20, some people 25, somebody sent 100. Every little bit helps, and it's important because, the $2, the $3, they all add up at the end of the week, right? And so it's taking about, now with this show being on the air 5 days a week, the expenses for this show and for its website to stream the audio out to the people who listen online is up around $4,200 I got to raise. I have 1 week to do that. So please make a donation. And those of you listening on WBCQ around the world, right now I'm going to give you my mailing address so that you can mail cash from your country or, check or money order from the United States so that you can send it by postal mail if you don't want to use the internet or if you don't have access. So you mail it to me, Harold, Harold, Turner, Turner. The street address is 1906 Patterson, Paterson, Plank, Plank, Road, Unit 1A. And the town I live in is North Bergen, Bergen, New Jersey. The postal code, the zip code is 07047. And of course, that's in the USA. Those of you outside the United States can send cash money from your country, and I will get that cash converted to US dollars when it arrives. Please don't think somebody else will donate, because they don't. Very few people bother to support what this radio show does. They think other people will do it. So I really need your help. Please do something right away. All right, so that's the end of the fundraising for this show. There is other news, and I've got a couple of callers, so let me get to the callers, and we'll see how long they take and whether or not I cover this other news. Hello, caller. You're on the Hal Turner Show. Who are you? Where are you calling from?
Tom, Kentucky.
Hey, Tom in Kentucky. What's up?
Hal, I walk around the city, and I ask people, are you for this impeachment of the president? Because I even saw Fox News put out a poll saying 50% of the people want him impeached and removed.
That's bullshit.
And I have yet to find one person who says, I want President Trump impeached on what we've seen on TV, with the Democrats and so forth. Not one person can I find. So where in the hell are these polls coming from?
I don't know. I live in Hudson County, New Jersey. It is far and away the heaviest Democratic Party county in New Jersey. Everybody here is a Democrat except me. And I got to tell you, I was at a candy store in Secaucus about a week ago, and there was a guy walked in, and he said, This impeachment with Trump is a bunch of shit. I can't believe they're trying to overturn an election. This is not right. And this is in Democrat Hudson County. So I know what you mean when you say you can't find people supporting this. I don't hear any support for it, not even from Democrats.
I've got to say, the CIA Mockingbird program controlling the TV news media, it apparently isn't really working.
Well, that is a subject for another night, sir. I've got one more caller to get in. Is there anything else you wanted to say?
Oh, I think you are incredible. I love you, and I'll see you next show.
Thank you. Oh, all righty. The other caller hung up. I was just going to go to him. Why did you hang up? You shouldn't have hung up. All right, look, quickly. There is a lot of child rape and child pornography in the news. Numerous arrests. It began with the arrest of a Louisiana deputy sheriff and his wife in Livingston Parish, Louisiana. The high-ranking sheriff's deputy is Lieutenant Dennis Perkins, and his wife, a teacher in school, Cynthia Perkins, were arrested yesterday as a result of a criminal probe headed by the Louisiana Attorney General's office. They were arrested on charges of child porn production. They are in jail. The wife is on $500,000 bail, and the police officer husband is on $1.67 million bail. He's being held in the Ascension Parish Jail for his own safety. They can't put him in his own county jail. So there's that story on my website, very disturbing. Even worse, I think, a New York City Fire Department, a fireman has been arrested after being accused of raping his 18-year-old niece for the past decade. He apparently started raping this girl when she was 8 years old. Reynardi Dietrich, age 46, was arrested in Hempstead, Long Island, New York, charged with several counts of rape, criminal sex act in a manner injurious to a child, and sex abuse. Guy's a firefighter at Engine 230 in Brooklyn. He is being held at Brooklyn Central Booking. And also tonight, out of the West Coast, 9 men arrested in a Washington State undercover predator sting. The officers in this sting posed as 15-year-old boys and girls on social media and were contacted by the predators, who arranged to meet these children for sex. The predators were arrested by undercover deputies at a location where they believed they would be meeting the child in person. Folks, we're seeing it happen. This is a result of President Trump unleashing law enforcement to go after these human traffickers and these child sex perverts. I am so grateful to President Trump and to law enforcement for grabbing these maniacs and getting them off the street. People who go after children for sex are dangerous and they need to be locked up. God bless our police and our president. I'll be back tomorrow night, 9 o'clock Eastern Time. Thanks for listening. I'm Hal Turner. Good night from New York City.